Following Joe Biden's unannounced visit to Ukraine, Russian President Putin delivers his State of the Union address with important new announcements. Here's One America's Rion.
In the 1 year since the Ukraine-Russia war began, and less than 24 hours after President Biden visits Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin declared the suspension of the last nuclear arms treaty between the U.S. and Russia.
We do not withdraw from the treaty, but we are putting it on hold. But before we go back to discussing this matter, we need to understand first, what do such countries from North Atlantic Alliance as France and the United Kingdom want, and how can we consider their strategic arsenal, which is offensive part of the offensive potential of the alliance.
The New START treaty was meant to cap the number of strategic nuclear warheads the U.S. and Russia could deploy. Currently, Russia maintains the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the world, at 6,000 warheads. Putin also condemned the U.S. for prolonging the war in Ukraine, a war he started, and went on to say Russia's nuclear weapons have been set to combat readiness. But Putin also emphasized this is more than a war of borders. It was also a cultural war against a morally compromised West.
Now look at what they're doing with their own peoples. They're destroying the institution of family, their cultural and historical identity, and various perversions with regard to children up to pedophilia are accepted as the new norm, and priests are forced to recognize and officiate same-sex weddings.
Ultimately, Putin vowed to keep fighting in Ukraine and to not allow NATO forces to move in on Russia. Shortly after Putin's speech from Moscow, President Biden took to the stage from Warsaw Castle in nearby Poland. The White House had been careful to emphasize Biden's speech was not a rebuttal of Putin's speech. Nonetheless, Biden had this to say of his counterpart.
President Putin's craven lust for land and power will fail, and the Ukrainian people's love for their country will prevail.
The last time Biden was in Poland, his Russia speech was littered with diplomatic blunders, including endorsing Russian regime change. Since Biden's arrival in Poland and Ukraine, he has pledged an additional $500 million in military aid and has also promised the U.S. taxpayers will also provide Ukrainian social security and welfare checks, a bankrolling the Biden team justifies using sweeping rhetoric.
Remind us that freedom is priceless. It's worth fighting for as long as it takes. And that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President, for as long as it takes.
The latest pledge of military support entails drawing down from our current stockpiles. And with Biden's endless war rhetoric, President Zelensky seems himself unrelenting in his push for fighter jets, a move Russia has promised would lead to World War III. Following this week's visit and speeches, it has become clear, so long as Biden is in power, this is a war America will bankroll, despite its increasing unpopularity with American taxpayers. Rion, One America News, the White House.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.